Alright, before we start, let's address the elephant in the room. Brock left 4 episodes ago. Now that Brock's gone, we're having an episode all about an Onix? I don't know, something about that just doesn't sit right with me. Today's episode begins with Ash's Lapras scooping up a message in a bottle that it found floating in the ocean. Mate, doesn't this world literally have video phones? Why are people still using messages in bottles to communicate? They're the least reliable form of communication. Granted, someone did technically find this one, but my point still stands. Ash reads the message from inside the bottle and it says, if you know anything about a Pokemon called the Crystal Onix, let me know right away. And this is from Marissa on Sunburst Island. Much like my previous point, this could have easily been put on a public notice board. Or maybe you could have just called a few people on the phone for some info, Marissa, or maybe even gone traveling yourself. Although fair play, we do find out she's a child in a little bit, so maybe she can't do some of those things, but a brother could have. You've got to agree though, if you're willing to put a request for info inside a bottle and then bung it in the ocean, do you really want the information that badly? Like, did this Marissa person really throw a message in a bottle in the ocean and then just walk home and sit there like,
and now we wait.
Tracey then tells us about the Crystal Onix. Basically, it's an Onix made of glass crystal, if you hadn't inferred that from the name already. And there's really no real lore to it other than, oh, a bunch of people reckon they've seen it. Wow, that is deep. I really hope my sarcasm was clear there. Wow, all the shops on Sunburst Island sell ornamental glass, you know, because of the whole glass Onix thing. Wow, what a great business plan. Capitalize on the hype just like everyone else is doing. Surely this can't be profitable if everyone's doing the exact same stuff. It's like when you walk in the streets of London and every other shop you see has those tacky London souvenirs in them. Surely if you're all selling the same thing, then nothing's doing well. What I'm saying is, Sunburst Island, open a Mackey's or something. Direct quote from Tracey. Lots of artists live here and they make the glass right on the island. What, as opposed to gathering the materials on the island, going to another island to make the products and then coming back to the island to sell them? I really don't get why it's supposed to be so amazing that people who live on an island where things are made make the things they make on the island where those things are made. It's not impressive at all, is it? This shop owner takes a break from manning his store to bully the little girl at the shop next door. Who in the small dick energy does this bloke think he is? It's a good thing people come to your shop for glass, mate, because if they were coming for personality, looks like you're fresh out. After Ash and friends walk over to intervene because none of them know how to mind their own business, the shop owner explains that being next to the little girl's store run by her older brother is killing his business. Yeah, this guy reckons that his glassware store being next door to an empty store with barely anything on the shelves is killing his business. Mate, I'll tell you what's killing your business. 1, you're an arsehole and that's not very welcoming. 2, you run a glassware store on Sunburst Island, where it seems like 80% of the high street is just other glassware stores. If you're worried about your business going under, try selling something unique. Or open a Mackey's. I'm really hungry today, aren't I? Misty asks the little girl if she runs the store all by herself, and she says no, my big brother Mateo helps me out a lot. And I'm guessing by helps me out a lot, she means her big brother makes all the products, sets all the prices, brings the display tables in and out of the store every day, packages all the ornaments, balances the books, pays the bills, basically everything. I bet he considers himself lucky if she takes the bins out every once in a while. Now I consider myself lucky if you would tap the like button, share the video on social media, and of course leave a lovely comment down below. Now if you can't think of a comment, just put something really generic, like,
all this glass talk gives me memories of that video of the bloke with the jar.
Yeah, we're unlocking some memories today. Or just comment the name of the secret Pokemon that I've hidden somewhere in this video. And if you're new here, thank you for giving my channel a chance. Please hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode of Pokemon WTF Moments, and make sure you turn on all notifications so you don't miss anything on the channel. And it just so happens, out of all the people on Sunburst Island, the little girl who was being bullied by the shopkeeper next door was Marissa, the person who sent the message in a bottle all along. Jesus, Pokemon, you've got this tied up so neatly in a little bow, I'm surprised you haven't choked yourself with it. The gang talk to Mateo, who tells them how things were when his late grandfather ran the store and how it was full of glass and a big success, but explains that since his grandfather's passing, he's really been struggling to follow in his footsteps. My question is, how long's his granddad been dead? Surely it's got to be pretty recent, hasn't it? Like, if Mateo's never been able to make glass sculptures as good as his granddad could, then surely if it had been a long time, they'd be out of business and probably homeless by now. I reckon it's pretty fresh, you know, so I'm actually quite surprised that Marissa is doing so well. Like, I'm not even being satirical here, like, this is just a morbid realization I've had watching this episode back. I will say though, good lord, we were talking about being unoriginal before. Mateo and Marissa's granddad specialized in you betcha, glass sculptures of Pokemon. And I'd bet my upcoming holiday that every store on this island claimed that Pokemon glass sculptures were their speciality. Mateo reckons he can't make anything good enough to sell in the store, as we're literally being shown a bunch of completely fine-looking Pokemon sculptures that Mateo has made. Mate, just stop being a perfectionist. Any tourist that comes to Sunburst Island for a few days is gonna think these things are cool if they're the kind of person that collects glass Pokemon ornaments. They look like the Pokemon they're meant to be. Trust me, that is good enough on its own. Mateo says that compared to his granddad's work, these are worthless, and out of all of the sculptures he could have smashed, he smashes the Poliwhirl one. Mate, that is blasphemy, and I hope your crappy little shop crumbles to dust and you never sell another sculpture again. That is no way to treat our Lord and Saviour. Hate this cunt already. Plus, I'm not being funny, mate, but does it even matter if your sculptures are as good as your granddad's anymore? Because he's dead. It's not like you've got to compete with him anymore. Honestly, you're thinking way too deeply about the kind of thing that the everyman who's just on holiday looking for a souvenir just doesn't care about. Mateo is mad because the glass statues look like statues. His words, not mine. Artists, man. I love some of you, but good lord, you lot can be dramatic sometimes. Mateo wants to capture the Crystal Onix because his grandfather said that he'd seen it as a young artist, and that was what inspired him to make such great glass sculptures. I like the idea, but I find it really weird that he isn't out looking for the Crystal Onix then. Like, if he knows nothing in the store is going to inspire him to help him find that spark, then shouldn't searching for this elusive Crystal Onix be priority number one?
Well, actually, Liam, maybe Mateo can't just leave the store to go and look for something he doesn't even know how to find, because he has responsibilities at the store to take care of.
Oh yeah, because with no stock, I'm sure customers are queuing out the door, mate. Would it really kill him though to close up shop for a few days and go looking for this thing? How big can Sunburst Island even be? Mateo says that for the rest of his life, his grandfather turned out one great sculpture after another, as we're shown a sculpture of what I can only describe as a Blastoise seemingly trying to help a Charizard ease itself in gently, if you know what I mean. Sunburst Island, more like DeviantArt Island. Mateo's grandfather is a dead furry. Pass it on. Well, you know what they say, anything's a dildo if you're brave enough. After Ash and the gang decide to help Mateo find the Crystal Onix, since Ash has seemingly forgotten all about the Orange League and the GS Ball, we get this direct quote from Ash.
After all, it's not polite to let a letter from a little girl go unanswered.
But Ash, you did answer the letter. You came to the island and found the little girl who sent the letter. That's answering it. Direct quote from Meowth.
Let's make shopping easy. We can avoid the checkout lines if we pick out what we want and come back later and steal it.
There's just one flaw to that plan, Meowth. What if someone buys the thing you want before you come back to steal it? Name one thing you can't believe was considered normal to do before the pandemic happened. For me, it was eating cake after someone had blown their manky breath over it while blowing out their birthday candles. For James, it was licking glass plates before he'd even bought or stolen them. James is a plate licker. Pass it on. After Meowth causes Jesse and James to accidentally drop and break the things they were holding, meaning they're now forced to work for the store owner to basically pay off the damages, they overhear two guys from the store talking about the Crystal Onix and how they believe that Mateo is stupid for believing in it. This prompts Team Rocket to drop what they're doing and go off to find it. However, if they're now going to leave without finishing the work they were supposed to be doing to pay off their debts anyway, why did they bother starting the work in the first place? Mateo, mate, why the fuck have you brought that thing with you? You're just asking for that thing to get broken.
Actually, Liam, I think you'll find Tracey's about to bring out Venonat, and they're going to show the Onix statue to Venonat so it can try and track down similar shapes.
What, like they couldn't have shown Venonat the statue back at the store? Like, that's the Crystal Onix sculpture made by Mateo's now deceased grandfather. And Mateo doesn't yet have the spark or the inspiration to make anything as good as what his grandfather could make. So you could probably say that thing's irreplaceable. With that in mind, that statue shouldn't leave the store, should it? People shouldn't even be handling it. And even if we give them the benefit of the doubt and we go, okay, maybe they didn't realize until now that Tracey was going to bring out Venonat for this purpose, that's even more reason to question why he would bring it along. And even without it, couldn't they have just shown Venonat a picture of Onix from the Pokedex for it to go off? There is no plausible reason for Mateo to have brought this priceless family heirloom on this hike. at all. Also, Tracey's Pokeballs don't open when he sends out Pokemon. What kind of fuckery is this? We've said this in a previous episode, but that does not say Pokemon. It says Pokemon. Venonat finds a bunch of rocks that kind of do look like an Onix, which I think we can all agree is fair enough. But then we get this direct quote from Tracey. Venonat, how could you let me down? Before he immediately returns Venonat to its Pokeball. Hold on, mate, why doesn't Venonat get another go? Alright, he made one little mistake, but it's no reason to sack him off for the rest of the day. What a horrible trainer. And to think, there are people out there who like Tracey. Something everyone should like is G Fuel! Today I'm drinking the wonderful Hive Nectar once again. I'm loving Hive Nectar right now, it's proper refreshing. It's all I need right now is a big old 16-ounce jug of Hive Nectar to get me through whatever it is I'm doing. For those not familiar with G Fuel, it is an energy formula with zero sugar, barely any calories, and bags of energy within it. It is so wonderful. I love this stuff. I live by this stuff, which is why I'm happy to be sponsored by G Fuel, because I drink it multiple times every single day. I'm drooling, I'm salivating. I don't know if you can notice, but I'm proper salivating for this one. Oh, it's so refreshing. Remember, you can use code ACE to save yourself 10% off your entire G Fuel order, and it includes the G Fuel merch. Go get yourself a t-shirt. They got the black ones, the white ones, the grey ones, even a lovely purple one. Use code ACE, all up in the place, but do remember that G Fuel is for over 18s only. Children don't need caffeine. They're annoying as it is. Don't give them more energy. And of course, because G Fuel contains caffeine, if you are over 18 and drinking it, just drink it responsibly. Don't be a dickhead. Here's Tracey calling Venonat back, but take a note of where Ash is. Because in this next shot, where Tracey's sending out his next Pokemon, Ash is gone. Where the hell did Ash go? Guess he must have scurried off for a quick piss. And there is why Venonat got canned. Out with the old, in with the Gen 2, I suppose. According to the Pokedex, Marill's sensitive ears can detect distant sounds, a trait which was added purely for this episode's story, since none of its in-game or future anime Pokedex entries mention anything about its ears. Just another example of the Pokemon writers making up any old garbage to suit their weird story.
This message was brought to you by the Fun Police.
No, but I get why they needed to start shoehorning Marill into the anime at some point, but you could have just had Marill there to do the stuff in the water later on, but had Venonat lead them all the way to the area where the Onix is. I'll give them a pass though, because Marill is super cute. Tracey takes a moment to remind all us 90s and early 2000s kids that MP3 players that existed separately to our phones were once a thing. See, now he's making us feel old, the prick. Also, he's got Onix cries in his playlist, so if he asks, don't let him use your aux cable. As soon as Marill leads them to the edge of Sunburst Island, where they find a smaller island across the water, a sandbar is immediately revealed by the low tide, allowing them to cross. Jesus Christ, Pokemon, slow it down. At least try and give our hero some obstacles. You've got 20 minutes to fill. Also, can I just ask, why have people looked all over Sunburst Island for the Crystal Onix, but they never thought to check the smaller island just off the coast? Or better yet, why didn't Mateo's granddad tell Mateo where he saw the Crystal Onix? As they run towards the sandbar, our heroes fall into a hole dug by Team Rocket, and after their motto, Misty says,
"Why don't you pretend you're a tree and leave?"
Which I think we'll all agree is cringy as hell, but it does set James up for the line of the episode.
Ooh, funny. Who taught you that one, Professor Oak?
Bravo, Pokemon. Bravo. That was tickety-boo. After Team Rocket run off to the other island, Marissa bursts into tears and screams that they're going to steal Crystal Onix. I mean, to be fair, love, it's not like Mateo's plan is to leave the Crystal Onix in the place that it's hiding. He wants to catch it for himself, which is technically stealing it from the wild so nobody else can find it. Also, this is one of the many reasons that I just do not want kids. They cry over the most pathetic shit. Like because they don't want someone to have something that they want, or because two different types of food touched each other on their plate, or because their mum did their buttons up in what they think is the wrong order. I'm getting mad just thinking about it. Thank fuck for the snip. Ash and friends immediately escape from the hole, which makes me wonder why they didn't just climb out earlier. Like they could have stopped Team Rocket ages ago. When the gang catch up to Team Rocket, they've trapped themselves in their own traps, which they were setting up to stop Ash and friends. Now, while this is rather funny and is a good comedic moment, it gets less funny when you realize we could have had a pretty cool Pokemon battle here, like Marill and Pikachu versus Arbok and and wheezing or something. But of course, this is the Pokemon Anime. Why would there ever be Pokemon Battles? Moments later, Ash and friends come to a cave full of crystals, and in the pool of water in front of them, they soon spot the Crystal Onix in all its glory. I'm just saying, wasn't that hard to find, was it? It's literally in a cave on a little island that's very close to the shore of Sunburst Island. And it even has a convenient sandbar at low tide to give people access. And apparently nobody found this place aside from these guys and Mateo's granddad? Everyone else on Sunburst Island is a moron. Pass it on. Look, I know you all want me to mention it, so I'll mention it. Why the fuck didn't they make this thing a regional variant of Onix in Gen 7 or Gen 8? It was right there. It's an Onix that lives in water, so surely it's not a rock type or a ground type anymore unless it's rock and water or ground and water. Or maybe it's an ice type or something, so it's a Pokemon that looks like it's made of crystal, but it's actually made of ice. Like Pokemon, you started making regional variants of existing Pokemon and you didn't think of the most obvious choice? Use your noodles. I expect to see this thing in either Legends Arceus or at least Gen 9. Direct quote from Mateo.
I came prepared with just the Pokemon to battle that Onix.
No, he didn't. He brought Cloyster, who's weak to rock-type moves. Does this confirm that the Crystal Onix isn't rock? Maybe? I guess it could, but since we don't get any proper confirmation, I think we have to assume at this point that it's still rock. After Cloyster's Water Gun fails to affect the Crystal Onix at all, making me even more certain that it's no longer a rock type or a ground type, Mateo tells Cloyster to try Rapid Fire.
That's not a move.
Direct quote from Mateo. I'm not even kidding. Go back and listen. It's one of the worst pieces of voice acting we've had in a while, and that's coming from a terrible wannabe voice actor. Team Rocket turn up again, and Misty questions how they escaped the traps. James says that's a secret she will never know, and in a fourth wall break, Jessie says the writers can't figure it out either. I mean, at least they're finally being honest about not having a clue what they're doing. Team Rocket fantasize about the things they could make with all of Onix's crystal. And while Jessie and James both think of things that use the entire Onix, Meowth wants to make himself a crystal charm. I'm pretty sure that means Meowth's plans involve killing the Crystal Onix. Meowth is a potential murderer. Confirmed. Arbok and Victory Bell. It's nice seeing Team Rocket use a unique pairing, like switching things up a bit. I like it. I mean, not all WTF moments have to be negative. I do like Pokemon, remember?
Well, actually, Liam, with how much you criticize the Pokemon anime, you sure do make it sound like you don't like Pokemon.
Yeah, but that just means you don't understand the premise of the series, and that sounds like a you problem, really. After Misty Staryu makes a quick appearance to batter Team Rocket before Pikachu then shocks them, they try and escape and run into the Crystal Onix with such force that Jessie's gloves pop off. Christ, how much must that hurt? Mateo sends out a Charmeleon that quickly dodges the Crystal Onix's rock throw. Ash asks,
"What's that?"
just before Tracey points out that that was indeed rock throw. Oh, for a split second I thought he was asking what Charmeleon was. This close, I was this close to tearing Ash Ketchum a new one for forgetting a Pokemon that he's literally owned. I mean, can you blame me for almost jumping to that conclusion? This is Ash Ketchum after all. Charmeleon uses Flamethrower and it appears to really hurt the Crystal Onix. So I am now definitely convinced that it's an ice type. Did Toby cover all of this in his Crystal Onix video? Sorry, make that videos plural. Jesus Christ, Toby, talk about flogging a dead snake. And yes, he did cover the typing, I've checked. I guess I'll link all 3 of those videos down in the description. Go give him a watch after this and tell Toby that I sent you and that I love him like a baby brother. Direct quote from Tracey. Charmeleon's Flamethrower attack is making the Crystal Onix super hot. I mean, yeah, fire does tend to do that, mate. It's fire. Mateo tells Charmeleon to use Ember, but it clearly uses Fire Spin. Oh god, not another disobedient Charmeleon. That's something we definitely don't need. The Crystal Onix finally faints, and Ash tells Mateo to hurry up and capture it. And Mateo says he doesn't have to anymore, and gives some bullshit about finally being inspired and all that bollocks. But what do you mean you're not gonna capture it? It's the Crystal fucking Onix. If you capture it, it's yours forever, and you can bring it out whenever you need a bit more inspiration. If you capture it, you'll be the only person in the world with a Crystal Onix, and people will pay to come and see it and you'll be rich. There is literally no valid reason to leave it here. Hell, what if someone evil like Team Rocket come and capture it? After all, Jessie, James and Meowth now know exactly where it lives. Alright, fair enough. If Mateo doesn't want to capture it because he thinks he's been inspired enough and doesn't need to capture it now, it's absolutely fine. But Ash? You're supposed to be trying to become a Pokemon Master. Why don't you catch the Crystal Onix? Anyone? Tracy? Misty? Why is nobody capturing the fucking thing? This is outrageous. What an entire bunch of bellends these lot are. Later that day, back at Mateo's shop, he's making something out of glass and Marissa tells him to hurry up. Mateo says you can't rush a genius. A genius? You let the Crystal Onix escape. You're a bloody moron, mate. I really need to calm down. I'm going to burst a blood vessel. This Pikachu ornament screams, I helped someone find the fabled Crystal Onix and all I got was this lousy and might I add tiny glass Pikachu. And why didn't Misty and Tracey get gifts? They helped too, didn't they? I can't believe I went from not liking Mateo at the start of this episode to still not liking him by the end of the episode. Mateo's a knob. Pass it on. So those are my WTF moments of Pokemon Season 2, Episode 7, the Crystal Onix. Let me know your favourites and any that I missed down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Head to twitch.tv/AceTrainerLiam for all of my live streams. I'll be live at 7 PM UK time tonight with Oddworld Soulstorm and use code ACE for money off G Fuel. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.